Fade out 1. Fade in 3.
Pizza Flix Television Division presents
Thank you.
Have a pleasant trip, Sir George, and come back safe and sound.
We always worry about you, sir, when you go up to London. Oh, I'll stay away from the nightlife. Oh, that's not what I meant, sir. I mean No, I know quite well what you mean, but everybody takes care of me. Don't worry, Martin. I have more pairs of legs than a centipede, so I prefer 2 of my own. Hold on, sir. Thank you.
Do you think you'll be warm enough, sir?
Oh, of course I shall be warm enough. Now, stop mothering me, you two. Get off the train before it starts, and I get caught with a couple of extra fares.
You'll wire us if you need anything, sir.
Oh, I shan't want anything. Just meet me on Tuesday on 4:10. Bye, sir. Bye.
Oh, conductor, I'm Dr. Phelps.
I remember, Dr. Phelps. You don't want Sir George to know you're on the train.
Quite right. Thank you. I'll be in this compartment if I need it.
I understand, sir.
I hope you don't mind my sharing this compartment with you.
Not at all, sir.
As a matter of fact, we're lucky to have a compartment for just 2 of us, the way the trains are crowded these days. You mind?
I beg your pardon? Oh, no, not at all. I used to smoke a pipe myself until the doctor tabooed it. I like the smell of a good pipe. Please light up.
Thank you, sir. What was it that Oscar Wilde said about pipe smoking?
I hesitate to correct you, sir, but the reference was to cigarette, not to pipe smoking. He said, a cigarette is the most exquisite of all pleasures. It never leaves one quite satisfied.
He probably meant pipe smoking as well.
There's no doubt he was. Your life has left me very few pleasures, save my books and my friends. I'm just about crippled with arthritis. It's brought me about in a complete circle. I'm back to being carted around like an infant.
I'm sorry. I hadn't realized. Is there anything I can do to help?
Oh, nothing at all, thank you. People vie with one another to help me. I shall be met in London by people from the hotel. They'll get me off the train into a car.
I must say, you take it wonderfully well. Of course, now I know who you are. I thought your face was familiar the moment I saw you. Taking me all this time to place you.
Well, I suppose I have been subjected to a certain amount of publicity.
You're Sir George Edgerton, of course. I've seen your picture in the newspapers many times. As a matter of fact, only this week, I think it was, I saw a picture of you over some article about having endowed a free children's clinic.
Well, the papers do make rather a fuss nowadays. I suppose since the war, there's a struggle for stories.
You read them all, do you not? The stories about yourself?
Oh, certainly I do. I suppose it's good form to pretend that one doesn't.
I've read everything they've ever printed about you. Every single thing. Sir George Edgerton, for a traveling companion. Oh, this is my lucky day. I never would have thought when I got on this train I would be sharing a compartment with you, Sir George. Could be the turning point of my whole life.
Ticket, please. Are you quite comfortable, Sir George? Ah, that's better. Sorry we couldn't get a compartment by yourself. Trains are ever so crowded these days. Dinner as usual at 6 o'clock, sir. I'll send a steward by in plenty of time. Anything you might want before then?
Nothing at all, thank you. I shall rest for a while and perhaps doze off later on. I want to be waiting for dinner, though.
Oh, of course, sir.
Must be nice to be well known, respected, have people kowtow to you, even if it is only for a tip. Sir George Edgerton, millionaire philanthropist, knighted by the Crown for outstanding services to his country in times of peace and war.
Look here, sir, if this is your idea of humor, I hardly find it amusing.
Oh, you must forgive me, Sir George, if I've offended you. You see, I've been away from England for quite a long time. It could be that my idea of humor has become slightly warped. What appears funny to me might be annoying to you. On the other hand, what might seem funny to you could indeed be annoying to me.
That might be entirely possible.
As I said before, I've been away from England for a long time. I left when I was very young. I didn't intend to stay away as long as I did. I was forced to. I expect you wonder why I'm bothering you with this unhappy story, don't you, Sir George?
I don't wish to appear to be rude, sir. But perhaps I just don't want to listen to any story, happy or unhappy.
Oh, but you're a philanthropist, and surely it's the duty of a philanthropist to listen to unhappy stories. And then bring a little joy where there has been sadness.
You must forgive me, sir, but I'm seldom personally involved in my philanthropy. I have an organization.
Oh, but your organization isn't here now. It's just you. I speak to you like this because, as I said before, I've read everything that's been written about you. Oh, you must have given away a fortune in your time. You've prospered in this world and shared your wealth. It's all very admirable. Do I embarrass you, Sir George?
I can say quite definitely that you do. Unfortunately, you have me at a great disadvantage. I can't move without assistance. Otherwise, I would change to another compartment.
You want to know something? I'm not the least bit interested whether you're ill at ease or not.
I don't know who you are, sir. You seem to be trying to make my trip as unpleasant as is humanly possible.
Not very far from the truth.
What do you mean? Look here, I want that door open.
You said you were going to take a nap, remember? I wouldn't want you to be disturbed.
I want you out of this compartment, do you hear me?
Oh, I hear you very well. But there's not very much you can do about it, is there? You can't even stand up to ring the bell. There's not very much you can do about anything, is there, Sir George?
Who are you?
Oh, now you're getting interested in my story. All right. I'll tell you. I left England when I was a very young man. Almost a boy. I left with a friend, a man a good deal older than I was. We moved around the world, shipping out on freighters, working at anything. Oh, it was rough and it was tough, and we stuck together through the roughest and the toughest of it. And then one day, he got the fever. The get-rich-quick fever. And he decided that we should try our luck in the diamond fields.
What did you say your name was?
I haven't said anything yet. You're rushing me. We did quite well for a while, my friend and I. But he was impatient. He wanted to get very rich, very quick. Then one day, he had his chance to get his hands on a fortune in uncut diamonds. The fact that they belonged to somebody else didn't bother him at all. He stole them and ran. And in the course of his getaway, he informed on me.
Larkin.
He planted a few stones among my belongings, and I was caught with the evidence. He got away with 100,000 pounds worth of diamonds, and I went to jail for 20 years.
Gerald Larkin.
Yes. I've changed, haven't I?
It isn't possible. It isn't possible.
Oh, yes, it is, George. It's very possible. You didn't think I'd forget, did you? Maybe you did. I'm sure you did.
No, I didn't forget, Jerry. No, I knew that we'd meet again someday.
I'll bet you did. Well, it's been a long time coming, but it's here at last. I waited too many years, and here it is. I suppose the thought of this moment was the only thing that kept me alive. When I really got to the point of giving up, I'd think of my friend. My good friend George, Sir George Egerton. And the will to live would well up in me stronger and fiercer than ever. I was a man with two emotions, hatred and the control of that hatred. Now there's no need to control it any longer. I can toy with the idea of hatred now, almost delightfully.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to kill you. Yes, I'm going to kill you. Right in this train where you sit, and no one's going to know that I did it.
Jerry. Jerry.
Yes, George?
You know you can't possibly do this thing, don't you?
Your manner would indicate that you know that I can and that I will. Let me help you. There. That's better. There's no one to kowtow to you now, George. You're all alone with me, and there's no one to help you.
You realize, don't you, that all I have to do is to shout and someone will come? They look after me.
I thought you were going to shout. But then, of course, the door's shut, and with the racket of the train, no one could possibly hear you. You do realize that.
They'll come back to looking on me.
Oh, you're taking a nap, remember? That was a piece of luck I hadn't even counted on.
They'll be here to take my dinner order.
At 6 o'clock, they'll come to take your dinner order. But you won't need any dinner, because long before that, you'll be dead, and I'll be gone.
Why do you wait? Why don't you kill me now?
Timing. Very important, as you well know. A few minutes from now, this train comes to a tunnel. It takes exactly 22 seconds to go through that tunnel. That's when I shall kill you. In the dark. In the roaring noise of that tunnel, I shall drive a knife through your heart.
You can't possibly get away with it.
Oh, I can. And you know how? When the train comes out of the other side of the tunnel, it goes up a grade, slows down, then it stops altogether. That's when I shall go forward as though I was going to the dining car, and I shall drop off the train. Then some miles later, at 6 o'clock to be exact, when they find you, I might be almost anywhere. It's well thought out, don't you think?
Jerry, listen to me.
Oh, I'm listening. That's all part of the game.
What have you possibly got to gain by killing me? You're a poor man. You told me that yourself. I'm rich. Very rich. You understand that? I can do things for you, Jerry. I can make you wealthy, too. Make up for all the suffering you've been through. Give me a chance to do that.
You're making sense, George. I must admit that.
I'll give you anything you want, Jerry.
In exchange for your life, you'll give me anything I want. Is that right?
Anything.
I will see how much you're prepared to give. Might be enough for me to pass up the sheer joy of obliterating you. For years, I thought of nothing else but killing you. I suppose my real hatred was focused in the way you were living as opposed to the way I was living. While you were talking business over dinner and a good cigar, I was picking oakum. Nasty stuff, that hemp. It cuts your fingers. And while you were building the diamonds, our diamonds, I might almost say, into a big fat fortune, I was counting the years and the months and the days until I'd be free. Maybe if I lived in luxury, real luxury like yours, for the rest of my life, it might make up for those 20 years in jail.
What do you want? I'll give it to you.
First, I want a signed confession. I have one already made out for you. Confession that you alone were responsible for the diamond theft, that you falsely implicated me and left me to take the blame, and that I, in fact, served your sentence for a crime for which you alone were responsible.
I'll sign it.
Then you will sign a sight draft on your bank, in my favor, for £200,000. Oh, the signed confession will keep you from stopping payment on the draft or organizing any reprisal against me. And the £200,000 should keep me very well for the rest of my life.
What assurance have I got that you won't make further claims on me?
Oh, you have no assurance whatsoever.
If I refuse to sign those papers, you intend to kill me, is that it?
We're getting nearer the tunnel, George. You'll sign them, or you'll be dead.
I'll sign with pleasure. Give them to me.
Fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic what money can buy. Even breath. It's a wonderful feeling to be a wealthy man. When I came on this train, I had a few pounds in my pocket and a 6-inch knife. I can hardly believe it has all been so easy.
It's not so easy as you think, Jerry.
What do you mean by that?
I had to know whether you were bluffing. I had to find out whether you ever really intended to kill me. You were right. It was easy to find out that you never had any intention of killing me. You were just talking.
You're wrong about that, George.
I was never wrong about you, Jerry. You're a coward. A complete and utter coward. You were easy to deal with because this was your only plan, to get money out of me. You even had the papers prepared. That was all you wanted. You're a fool, Jerry, as you always were.
What are you trying to get at?
Do you believe me so monumentally stupid as not to be prepared against such an eventuality as this? Oh, I admit there's no defense against a man who's willing to sacrifice himself in order to kill. But I never believed that you'd do that. I was right.
2 minutes till we come to the tunnel.
You don't frighten me, Jerry. Let me clarify a few things for you. That sight draft is worthless, you understand that? I can't sign a check for £2, let alone 200,000. Only my solicitor can sign checks. So much for the draft. And how about you? I was informed the moment you were released from prison. You have been followed and watched every yard on your journey to England, just as you've been followed and watched every second of every day since you landed here. Do you suppose for one moment that your presence on this train is not known?
I think you're bluffing. I know you're bluffing. 50 seconds, and I have your signed confession.
You still want to play games? How long do you suppose that would stand up in court? Why, it isn't even witnessed. Obviously, it was obtained from me by threat. It's your word against mine, Jerry. The word of an ex-convict against the word of a millionaire philanthropist, as you're good enough to call me. You're whipped and beaten, Jerry, and you know it. You even look it. Well, then why should you win? You're a born loser.
Fixed everything, have you? Covered all the angles with your usual thoroughness. Just as you did when you got away and I went to jail.
Oh, don't take it so badly, Jerry. I don't deny that I owe you something. I'll see you have £1 or 2 in your pocket. I'll find you a job. As a watchman or something.
That won't be enough, George. Oh, they'll hang me for it, I know. I'll get away. I'll get caught. But you've underestimated me in one thing. I am prepared to sacrifice myself in order to kill you. In fact, I can hardly wait. 5 seconds. You know what the cause of your death is going to be? Cleverness. You're dying of cleverness. You win again, George. You're right. I am a complete and utter coward. At least I am when it comes to killing a man in cold blood. Oh, it's all over now. I'll leave you. Strange thing is, I don't even hate you anymore. All seems washed out of me in that tunnel. George, what's the matter? Come on, pull yourself together. It's all over now. Is there a doctor on the train? Sir George seems to have fainted.
Oh, I do hope it's nothing serious. I'll fetch Dr. Phelps. He's Sir George's own doctor. He's in the next compartment. Dr. Phelps, could you come at once? I think Sir George has fainted.
What seems to be the trouble? I don't know. He seems to have fainted. We were talking this when the train went into the tunnel. We stopped because of the noise. I started up again. We came out, but Sir George didn't answer.
Oh, you know Sir George?
Well, I recognize his picture from the newspapers.
I see. Close the door and give me a hand, will you? Sir George is dead.
Dead?
Are you sure, sir?
But how could that have happened?
Heart seizure. It must have been over in a second. Poor chap, he really didn't have much of a life the past few years. Hopeless invalid. Quite some pain at times.
Why did he still fight to hang on?
I beg your pardon.
Oh, you must forgive me. I'm rather upset. I'd just met Sir George, and I'd taken quite a fancy to him.
You know, I fancy he must have had a premonition this was going to happen. Only this week, when I called at the hall, my regular visit to him, he had me come into the study to witness a new will which he'd just drawn. He had no kin, so the money was all to go to hospitals and various institutions, all except one very large bequest.
What was that?
I probably shouldn't ramble on like this, but it was a strange thing. Several £100,000 were to go to a chap, Larkin, some such name. I never even heard Sir George mention the man. Must be a crony from long ago.
I say, bit of all right for this Larkin chap, or whoever he is.
Perhaps. Unless he happens to be on this train. There was a very strange rider attached to the bequest. It was void if this chap, Larkin, was within the radius of 1 mile of Sir George when he died, no matter of what the cause. Isn't that odd? I'm afraid I shall need statements from both of you, and some identification, I suppose. Your name, sir?